Hey, this is Hanging Out. We're getting ready to start our Big South Fork trip. We're going to go down Laurel Fork Creek. The first half of it, the first day, will be basically going through the creek. The weather's supposed to be pretty decent. It's supposed to be 70 and 50s tonight, but we're going to get a drastic drop in temperature. Cold front's coming in. Rain tomorrow will be in the 50s. The lows will be in the 40s. And then the next 2 nights will be 50s and down below freezing on Friday or Saturday night. So we got a drastic temperature change. Makes it a little tougher to pack clothing, but we're leaving with about a 22-pound pack with 5 days of food. So I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to start off at the Sawmill Trailhead, and we'll update you as we get along the trail. We're headed to Laurel Fork Creek, 1.5 miles, and then we'll get wet after that. The sun's coming out. It's going to be a great day. Here we are hiking along the trail. Hiking Buddy Rain in behind me. Good day to be in the woods. This is about our umpteenth creek crossing. Something we've learned is that you can hike in Crocs. I actually left my short smart wool socks on and worked great. Brian's done great with just his Crocs, and we've hiked several miles with no ill effects. So when you got this many creek crossings, definitely bring you some kind of water shoe. The 1,001, 1,000,002 creek crossing, or something like that.
It's the Croc cleaning hole.
Yeah, sorry, family. There's a bear poop in the woods. First night camp.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah. Probably will have rain by in the morning. Here we are, first morning in camp. It's been raining all morning. Temperatures are dropping. It's still a good day. We're a little short on video last night and early this morning. A little bit under the weather. We're going to hang in there and get this trip in now. From the Laurel Fork Creek Trail. It's been raining all day, but we've had a good time. Actually missed most of the rain during the hike. It was a short hike in here. Show you some more of the campsite tomorrow. We've just set up and enjoyed it all day. We've actually, instead of making a big old campfire, we've done a little fire under the tarp. A little trick you might want to try sometime. Here's our campfire for the night. You hear the rain, so we're in still having a good time. This is a little trick that Rain had to keep the fire small. We're even cooking on it over here. It takes a little longer to cook this way, but you can cook on have a small fire under your tarp. The key is having that rock on top and just keeping the fire small. It keeps the heat from hurting the tarp.
It's Friday morning. Been sleeping in. Got up a couple times, but the rain was enough and cold enough that hey, the hammock with Lee's quilts was probably the best place to be. You can kind of see the camo effect we have with the Cuban tarp. Kind of cool thing about Cuban tarps. Did have a tie-out failure on the end. Know how to fix it when we get back, but a little DIY in the field. We're back going again.
Now this is camp for the day. We picked the best weather. We're having to make drains through the campsite, stockpiling wood. The life's still good. We're gonna go out exploring a little bit in the rain and then come back, and this will have a nice little fire under the tarp with the little trick with the rock house fire here. We've got a little board to stand under the tarps, not being able to move around. We set up a temporary shelter with a little fire down here under the rocks. Fire's radiating heat back, looking good. Just adapt to the situation. You could be miserable all day, or you can make the best of it. Some shots from our rain camp. Rain camp. Yeah, it is a rainy camp. Fire by the creek. This is rain. Flip it around here. We had plans of doing some other stuff, but you just got to go with the flow. Enjoy it. Everything's turned out good. Got some pictures of camp. It's a little foggy. The camera has a little condensation too, so. These are some more pictures from the campsite on Laurel Fork Creek. It's about 1.8 or so miles off the river. It's definitely a great place to camp. It's been a couple days of lots of rain, kind of under the weather the first day. We're getting ready to move camp tomorrow night. We'll probably have about 8 or 9 miles hike. Then on out. A lot of people would say this is not much fun, but it's the reason I get out here. These kind of scenes. Good morning in the Big South Fork. Hello. See that right there? That's the first sun we've seen in 3 days. It is Saturday morning. Here's some birds. Should be a good time. We've been here for 3 days now. 2 of them, well, a day and a half of good solid rain. First day wasn't too bad, but the sun has come out this morning. We're on the Laurel Fork Creek trail. We're backtracking a little bit to avoid some horse trails. It's rained so much, it'd be way too muddy just to deal with. We've been on those trails before anyway. We're going to go back up to the Cherry Creek area, camp tonight, and then hike out tomorrow. It's been a good time overall. If you don't enjoy dealing with things and making the best of a bad situation, this may have not been the trip for the first 2 days, but this day it looks like it's going to be about perfect for it. Here we are at a second campsite, probably the one I would pick next time I come. You can see the creek's down below us. There is a way down to get water. Not saying it's easy, but you can get there. It's wide open, not a lot of undergrowth. You could hang tons of hammocks in here. A lot more choices for hammocks. Good leaf bed on the bottom. For the carpet of leaves would be a better word. Much better actual campsite than the one we were at, I think, up off the, not quite as scenic right by the creek, but it's a short walk down to that area. And there's more hammock hanging possibilities out through here. Maybe a good choice for our hike in November. We found this other campsite. The next time I come, this will be my view from the hammock. Just imagine a hammock from that tree to this tree. It's a view out to the right. You see the creek down there in the bottom. A little bit of hammock heaven. when you're hiking in or out, whichever way you want to look at, this could be the first or second of a fairly big creek crossing. We crossed this yesterday and it was above our knees along the rocks there. I have a feeling it may be even higher today because of the rain. I did go first. That water was cold. Give us a blooper. Come on, man. You've only been out here 4 days. You don't need a bath yet. This is the second larger crossing on this portion of Laurel Fork going towards Station Camp Creek or in the river. So if you ever walk this trail, just be prepared. Hey, I'm on a little detour. I walked back to our first night camp. I had borrowed 2 sticks knife, and I was sick that morning when we packed up, and somehow I lost it. I looked around for a long time. I was giving up on finding it, and looked down and it was right at my feet. So probably got more sentimental value to Dad. We hiked up from Laurel Fork Creek up to Cherry Creek Trailhead. We're going to drop down to the Twin Arches Loop, up toward a place called Jake's Place, and then up toward the Slate Falls. Toward there, we may or may not camp tonight. We're just going to take it as it goes the rest of the day. We'll either have a really long hike or a very short hike out in the morning. No matter what trail you get on here, if you do it right, you get scenery like this. This has been a beautiful Saturday. We're just going to keep hiking today. Camping out tonight is an option based on where we end up hiking. After having to sit in the rain for a couple days, moving feels pretty good. We made it to Jake's Place. We decided to go ahead and push this next 3.5 or so miles out. Just can't get away from the nice creek shots. Oh, no. Here's a miniature arch called the Needle Arch. It's on our way out. We're about 1.2 miles from the car. It's been a great trip. Get my gear home. I got, you know, on these kind of trips you always have things you want to change, do different. So we're looking forward to the next trip. Hope to get out. Going to get out in November with the group that's coming up here, hopefully. Here's some Dutch buckles. It was the timing for these things was perfect on my last trip. On the marlin spike hitch, sometimes a stick doesn't slide out as easy as you think it would. I was a little aggravated with it. Got home, and that night it was the first time I'd saw Dutch have these buckles for sale. Ordered a pair that night, and they work great. Makes this whole system simple, keeps everything together. I just wrap around the back. It keeps the whoopee sling from sliding off, even though I don't think it would anyway. And it's probably been the best addition to my suspension system this time around. While we're here, a quick shot of home in the mess. And that little yellow thing you see right there is the lightest weight rain gear you got. 1.5 ounces, and it only cost 89 cents. And I've gone through all the high-tech rain gear. I got about everything you get, and this thing is working better for me than anything. Saturday morning in camp. The rain's gone. This is our last full day of hiking. See rain set up over here. Before we pack up my hammock, I want to take a quick shot of it. I showed it in the last video, trip video. Some people may not have seen it. This is my latest bridge. It uses amp steel down the sides for the arcs to save weight. The hammock itself with suspension's 8 ounces. When I add the hardware to put the hiking pose on, it jumps it up to 9.5 ounces. That's before the straps, so you can add that to the weight. But I can basically have a hammock and suspension for 9.5 ounces with the bridge. My hiking pose
together both of them together weigh 7.6 ounces, I believe. So as a total weight, that's not bad still. I use my high compose 100% of the time, so that's really not adding weight to my hammock or my pack setup. Inside here we have Lee's new 20-degree down top quilt. Done very well last night. I won't go through the whole thing. You can go to our website to see that, but one thing I do want to show for people that use the smaller underquilts is you can actually attach a pad this size to it. I've slept last night, my feet never got cold, kept it in place. Usually I have to have a lot bigger pad just because it moves around a lot. This has 4 loops that come out of the bottom of the quilt, and you just attach them through each with the shot cord. For more details, there's a video on her website you can see, but that's something that works very well. If you can add that to about any quilt fairly easy too, just with 4 loops right there. These are the things that helped us get a quick fire in cold and wet over the last 24 hours. The good thing is Rain carries the saw on the left. It's a Gerber retractable saw. And I carry the knife on the right. It's a Cold Steel SRK. It's just a good old workhorse knife that you don't mind beating around a little bit. The knife by itself only weighs about 8 ounces. With the sheath, I think it's like 11 ounces. But on trips like this, it's well worth the wait. I usually try to lighten up most areas, but I like a good knife. It's one of my luxuries.
Here's where we called home for the last 24 hours. It worked out good. The best thing was, and we talked about this probably a little bit last night, but you can see it, is this is the way we had a fire under the tarp for 2 nights. Split wood. The little bigger knife carry on these wet weather trips. It weighs about 8 ounces. And the little Gerber saw allow you to get plenty of wood to split up. The rock on top heats up, but it keeps the heat from rising and hurting the tarp. We also we could do coffee, hot chocolate, cream of wheat. You get up those temperatures and you can. It wouldn't quite boil water unless you left it on there a really long time, but that rock was good enough to hydrate food and cook on to a certain degree. So this is a very good system to have a fire under your tarp without having damaging anything.
And dry socks pretty good too.
Yeah, you can dry socks on top of it. It was hot enough on top to actually burn socks. That's the reason I only got 1 over there on top of there instead of 2. So you have to watch it, but it's a great way to dry your socks out. And it doesn't burn near the wood. You just have to have a way of batoning wood and cutting it up in short pieces. So sometimes the weight of a saw and a little bigger knife are worth it. Take a second to show you my cook system. It's not ultralight, but it's not very heavy either. It consists of the MSR Titan pot with a handmade lid out of a pie tin. I just pressed the original lid down on top to form it and rolled the edges. That saved about an ounce or so. I cook on fire or alcohol. You can see I cook on fire quite a bit. I kind of like that. Probably about 80% of the time now I'm cooking on fire, either directly on the campfire, or I can use the pot stand to cook fire in. You can put all your sticks in here and cook directly, have a fire that way. Or the little alcohol stove. It's just a little basic stove. It's about 1.5 inches tall, 1 3/8 diameter. It has a piece of plumber's felt in it. If I pull this felt up about 1/8 inch or so, I can boil in 6 minutes. Most of the time I leave it all the way down. It'll boil in 9 minutes. And give me a total burn time of about 16-17 minutes. Actually a little longer than that, but good heat for 16 or 17 minutes. And originally I had this full of plumber's felt. The boil times were the same, but it didn't burn quite as long because it gets more air in it. Grizzly Adams done something like this with a different size can. And I took the center felt out, and it does burn a little bit longer that way. The boil time stayed consistent. And then a small windscreen to put the whole system together. It all fits in this little cozy that I have. It helps rehydrate if I need to, and keeps it, I can use that to keep the pot from burning my hands also. It all kind of goes together, like so. You can put your windscreen around and your pot on top. and then your lid. This is the pack I use this trip. It's the ULA Conduit. I've had it for years. It's been my go-to pack with light loads. I started off around 22 pounds. I went a little heavier this trip because of rain, and brought a full-size knife and a 4-ounce flashlight. It's a little brighter. Added about a pound to everything. The Crocs too are not a normal thing, not that pair anyway, but I use those to hike in a whole day, so they worked out. But this is a good pack. I think it's 17 ounces. If you get all the little accessories, it goes up to about 22 ounces. This older model's more in the 21, 22 ounce range. I use pads for a frame in the back, and then I use those for my sit pads and my foot pad in my hammock. So it all comes together for me. If you're looking for a good, solid pack that's light but still made out of solid materials, you can't go wrong with this pack.